Happy Friday and welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot, Illinois. I'm Madeline Dubeck.
And I'm Matt Dietrich.
And this week we have late breaking news that the Illinois Senate President John Cullerton seems to be putting his political muscle behind the conference committee's pension plan, which we've written about a lot in the past month or so. But let's talk about what this means and what are the details of it and remind people. It's a $138 billion plan.
The biggest detail from it, which came to light when John Cullerton visited the editorial board of my former newspaper, the State Journal-Register in Springfield, is that it will save the state $138 billion over the next 30 years and bring the state's 5 public employee pension systems up to 100% funding.
Okay, so it also, a couple of other details about it, and I'm going to refer to some notes here. The cost of living adjustment that has been 3% compounded annually would change and be tied to half the inflation rate, but it would have a kind of a basement of at least 1% would be guaranteed every year, and a ceiling of no more than 4%, which is actually more than retirees could get right now. There will be a delay in when retirees could actually get their cost of living adjustments, and employees would contribute 1% less to their pensions than they do now. And then there also would be a cap on the amount of your salary that a pension would be calculated on, which would be tied to the Social Security rate, which is currently $113,000. So we wouldn't have the situation that makes a lot of people crazy, where you have school superintendents getting
Correct.
$300,000 or $400,000 pensions.
Which go up every year by 3% compounded annually.
Exactly. So Cullerton's come out publicly for this. That's a pretty big move. We don't know yet how Republicans will react to that. They were not very happy with this plan all along. And some of their concerns are they'd still like a 401k option for employees as an alternative for employees. There's been talk of raising the retirement age. One of the concerns that we have had at Reboot is that this plan seems to put most of the savings on the back end of that 30-year time frame. So now is really a good time for people to weigh in on this.
It's exactly right. And one of the things to keep in mind is that all of these things that right now, and no sooner had President Cullerton voiced his support of this than we heard critics coming out against it. And we have to keep in mind that that's how we got to this situation. That's why the conference committee exists, because we ground to a standstill on this over these kinds of issues. It's time for compromise, so let's have it out.
And just as a reminder, we have our new sound off tool at rebootillinois.com. You can use it to send a message to Cullerton and Governor Quinn and Michael Madigan and Christine Radogno and Jim Durkin, the 4 leaders of the caucuses and the governor, as well as your individual state rep and state senator. You can find the sound off tool at the end of most articles or in the upper right corner in the blue bar that says Launch Sound Off. Please make use of it. It's a great, convenient tool. We'll see you on the next edition of Only in Illinois.